was stuttering, and Mr. Woody just started to tongue lash me like it was my fault that I was stuttering. And she's like, why are you reading like you are foolish? I was stuttering, and two of them started to laugh, serious laugh, like they were not hiding it. I know teenagers can be very funny. They are very raw and real. They don't hide their emotions. So they were laughing, and I could have been disoriented, but I just thank God for the Holy Spirit. And I looked at them and said, why are you laughing? What's funny? And they said, oh, the way you are talking, you are saying da 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 da. I'm like, so okay. I didn't get offended. I just said, you don't laugh at people that talk like that. It is called stuttering. Do you understand? If you laugh at somebody that talks like that, it is equivalent to you laughing at a dumb person or a deaf person or a blind person. So you don't laugh at people like that. It is wrong. It's like you're making jest of them. And when I told them that, I could see that, okay, I don't know if they got it. I think they got it, but it was still somehow awkward. But I was glad that I schooled them on the topic that day. One of the girls is still my friend up until today. I'm older than her, right? But yeah, we are cool. And yeah, that event, I wasn't happy about it. It haunted me for a while, but I was happy that, I got to school them about the topic. That church just brought me out. Do you understand? That church brought me out. I'm going to tell you about my first experience with preaching to a crowd. It started in that church. So I told you guys that I sing, right? I'm a songwriter, I'm a music person. So that was what I was first of all noticed for in that church. So, and normally, as a stutterer, as somebody that stutters, people that stutter are not always quick to put themselves out there. We don't like people seeing us. We just like to be inside our shell. But it was different for me. At that time, God has just started to do some kind of work on me that I just wanted to be out there. I just wanted to express. I just wanted to take on challenges. So that was what happened. So in that church, I put myself out there for singing. And I started to sing, and God bless my teenage pastors, those pastors that pastored us at the time. Sister Chidima, Pastor Smart, Pastor Steve, Sister Ifoma, all those people, they helped my life 1,000,000 times. I remember when I sing then, and they will tell me, oh my God, you sing so well. I felt like I was in the redemption camp. You do this very well. They just start to hype me and encourage me. And really, 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 parents, can we please stop talking down our children? Instead of comparing your children to other children, look for that thing that your child can do well and use it to hype them. You don't know what hyping does to a child. It raises our self-esteem 1,000,000 times. So I remember my self-esteem was raised. Then there was another event in that church where, so because it was a teenage church, they used to organize programs where, we talk about intellectual things and all that. So there was this program where they shared us into groups in the teens church, and each group was supposed to talk about a topic. I think agriculture is better than farming, or agriculture is better than farming. Agriculture is better than maybe banking. One kind of topic, sure. So in my group, I was bringing out points. I was giving my group members point to talk about, because of course we're all supposed to rack our brains and choose a representative that will go and represent us. So in my group, because I was bringing the most points, because that week in my school, that was what we're talking about in our group, that particular topic. So I had a lot to say about it. So in my group, they're like, oh, you know a lot of things about this topic. Why not go and represent us? I'm like, don't let me go and represent you. I stutter. If I go, I might make us. They're like, no, you don't stutter. See, you're talking like this. And God has always done something for me. Like every group that I am in, they like to just put me out there. I've never cowed in any group. I like stay at the back. Even if I want to stay at the back, I want to think, no, will not allow me. They just always like to push me. I don't know why. But right now, I'm grateful for it, and I want more of that. So in that group, they pushed me and said, I'll represent. And remember, I said I already had this spirit in me that just wanted to express. So I took on the challenge, but I told them, send somebody else. It reminds me of the story of Moses, where God was going to send Moses to deliver the Israelites. And Moses said, God, I stutter. And then God said, go and call Abraham, That has been me almost all my life. Like every challenge, I just always remind God, I stutter, I cannot do this. When people are pushing me, I stutter, I cannot do this. But you know what? I always do it afraid. I do it scared, and that is another lesson. Yes, you are scared. It's okay to be scared, but do it scared. Most of the challenges I've taken on in my life, especially those ones that have to do with expressing myself verbally, speaking, I do it afraid. Some I'm happy with the results, some I'm not, but either ways, all of them, I'm happy that I put myself out there, because all of those things have led to me being who I am today. So yeah, so in my group they pushed me. I told them to send somebody else with me, like let us be two, so that fine, I will take the lead. But if at any point I get stuck, the other person can just come. Stuck as in I can't let my words out. The other person can just take over. So that was what I did. And so there were some rules, some laid down rules, like, oh, everybody would just has like a minute or two to talk, and immediately you hear the bell, you stop. Guys, you will not believe, I don't even want to go too deep into it. My group took first. I took first. So I took on that challenge. I spoke, I did not stammer. Immediately I heard the bell, I stopped speaking. Why did I even stop speaking? I stopped speaking because, yeah, enough, thank God, I've not stammered. Let me just keep quiet. From the other groups, there were a lot of very well-spoken people, clean-spoken people. I remember this particular guy, I don't want to mention his name because he's still my friend small. This guy, I used to listen to him talk and just be so wild. He represented his group. Guys, I took first for my group in that challenge that had to do with speaking. I was around 13 or 14 at the time. That raised my self-esteem to the highest. Like, I was so happy. That was one of the events. Then I remember in that my teens church, so there was this time that we had a family weekend. So in Redeem, there's this thing that we call family weekend. And in my church, I don't know if it spreads to other Redeem branches, but so a teenager would go and represent, the other teenagers to preach in the adult church during the week. So that was what was going to happen that week. And our teenage pastors were deliberating, like, who are we going to send? Who are we going to send? And Pastor Steve just said, hey, Sarah will do it for us. I'm like, sir? I cannot do it, though. I stammer. And those my pastors just saw something in me that I did not see. God sends specific people. I'm almost moved to tears. God sends specific people. Why did they choose me? There were a lot of other people to choose from, eloquent people. But for some reason, they chose me. And I remember telling Pastor, I said, Pastor Steve, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I stammer. He said, that is not an excuse. And he told me how he also used to stammer. And he's where he is now. Pastor Smart said, don't worry, I'll help you. So Pastor Smart gave me materials. I remember going home, I was scared. But I was happy. God had just put this fighter inside of me. I was ready to take on challenges. But I was scared. Pastor Smart gave me materials to work with. I remember going home telling my parents, they were rooting for me, right? But they were scared as well. I prepared, I did my best. And because I had already started to, read about stuttering at the time, I knew that, okay, practicing word for word what I was going to say was going to help me. So I practiced in front of the mirror. I had done everything that I needed to do. And then the day came. My parents came to encourage me. So our house is far from the church, so we don't used to come for weekly services every time. But that day that I was going to preach, my parents came to support me, and that meant a lot. And so, yeah, I climbed the pulpit that day, and I started to talk. I wasn't stuttering. But then something happened. As soon as I got to the middle of that message. Now, this thing reminds me of when Jesus was walking on water and Peter was coming to meet him. There is this thing about doubt. It happens with stuttering particularly. Firsthand, I've experienced it. Peter was coming to meet Jesus on water because he had seen Jesus walking on water, and he told Jesus, can I come and meet you? And Jesus said, yeah, come. And he was coming. But at the time when he thought about it, like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm walking on water. He just started to sink because he thought about it doubtfully. And that was the same thing that happened to me. I was talking, I was preaching. People were listening. And I could not believe it. At some point I was talking and somebody just gonna be like, wait, what? Come? I've not even stammered. People are listening. Oh my God, I'm talking. And I just started to stammer. It was so bad. I could not get the words out. And then at that point I said, okay, let me just tell them to stand up and pray so people will not really notice. And I stood up and I started to pray. And when we started to pray, the stuttering reduced a bit. I said, okay, sit down. When they started again, I started to stutter. It was so bad. I was so disappointed in myself. But as soon as I came down, after everything, as soon as I came down from the pulpit, come and see my teachers. Sarah, I'm so proud of you. Even my parents, because if everybody lies to me, if everybody's trying to cook the truth to look sweet, my parents won't do that. They will tell me the truth. They will be blunt with me. But even my parents were happy with me. They were telling me how much they were proud of me. My parents that used to compare me with Precious. I've said the name. Oh my God. They told me how proud they were, and that increased my self-confidence. I remember telling my teachers. I said, but I stammered. I said, don't say that. Don't say that. You did perfect. I was so happy. Like, from the child that nobody used to pay attention to, nobody cared about, to that child where, despite the fact that I thought I made a mistake, despite the fact that I thought I did not do enough, people were cheering me on. People that didn't even need to. And God gave me sweet parents as well that were cheering me on. Thinking about the experience, I'm just so grateful to God. So there was that as well, and I was so happy. Meanwhile, I'd already started to put myself out for music. I've never stuttered singing. It's always said that people stutter while they sing, but that has never been my problem. Music has always been my go-to, my safe space. So putting myself out for music was never really difficult. It was just for that speaking experience. So in my church, people had already started to know me, notice me, trust me with tasks. God had just been so good. So I remember my second experience preaching. So at this time, I was not a teenager anymore. I already graduated from teenager. This was like 2 years ago, thereabout. I was in final year in school, and it was during one of the strikes. So I was doing workers in training. Remember, I redeemed. I was doing workers in training, and so I was assigned to the teenage church to go and help out, coordinate the teenagers and all of that. And Pastor Smart, my ever able pastor, that man, he saw me and said, Sarah, you're back from school. Okay, you're going to be preaching to us next week. I'm like, sir? He said, yeah, you're going to be doing the preaching next week. I'm like, sir, how did that? And I was so scared. I was still scared. That's why I knew I've done. It was just not about, well, I took on the challenge. I was happy to, but I was scared. I took it on and I went home. I remember I preached on, do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That was my message for that day, talking to teenagers. And I remember going into the church. I had prayed. I had done my homework. I had done my homework. And I got into the church, and it was time to preach. And I mounted the pulpit, and I started to talk like an experienced speaker. You see, you know that there are some times when you know that you do something and you are not so sure you did well. You are waiting for people to assert you and tell you, oh, you did well, then you are now happy. This one, I did not need people to tell me I did well. I spoke from the beginning to the end without stuttering. Not just without stuttering, but the points. I said I had done my homework. So everything was gelling. The Holy Spirit, nobody can tell me anything. This one was nothing but the Holy Spirit. I was so happy. And teenagers, preaching to teenagers can be very difficult because teenagers, they just be using one kind of eye to look at you like, what does this one have to say? But their looks did not intimidate me. I spoke and they were blessed. People were blessed. I was so happy. I was so happy. Me, that timid child, that bullied child, that child who was not cared about, that child who was not cared for, to this child that people were listening to. I was so excited. And I remember there's this other big man friend of mine. I actually think of him as an elder brother, Mr. Dan. That man is another person that I know that if everybody lies to me, he will not lie to me. If I want to hear the truth, I just have to go and meet Mr. Dan. Shout out to you, sir. I just have to go and meet my sister. Tell me if I sing my ministration, if I want to hear the truth, I want to hear somebody criticize me, just go and meet Mr. Dan. He's the choir master for teenage church. So I went to Mr. Dan. I can remember Mr. Dan to accept him and tell me, you did well. If you do this often, you will be a master of it. I was so happy, guys. You can't even know the joy that I had inside of me. I was so happy. And all of those things, putting myself out there, having people push me, encourage me, all of those things formed me into this person that I am today. And remember I said I've always loved to talk. I'm a very expressive person. So it started off as being very defensive. Even till now, I get into some misunderstandings with my friends, with those people that are close to me. And when I sit down to think about it, at times I overreact because I'm quick to defend myself. I've been bullied in the past. I've been laughed at. But well, I'm here. I'm still dealing with the effects, but I'm here. And then I started my channel. So I remember when I was in university too, also that thing where people like to push me to the front. So you know how in university they group us into group for group presentations and all of that. God always just makes me find myself in a group where my group members are not ready to work. And if you want to pass, and they put you in a group where your group members are not ready to work, you don't have a choice than to take the lead. So I always found myself taking the lead. And when I take the lead, as in, bring us together, organize us, and then I say, okay, I will source for information about this assignment. Somebody else should present it. Nobody would want to present. You see them saying, oh, I have stage fright. Oh, I have this. And I'll tell them, guys, if I have stage fright, I'll do it. Mine is not, I don't like to even think of myself as somebody that has stage fright. My only fright is this stutter. So I'll tell them, I say, see guys, I stutter. That is why I cannot do this thing. But you guys don't stutter. You can overcome your fear. Me, no matter how I try, I'll still stutter. They'll say it's a lie. Sarah, you will do it. You can do it. You are the one that do this. You can. And I'll find myself, presenting on behalf of the group. But unfortunately, or I don't know, I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate, but the times that I tried to present for my group, I stuttered during presentation. I remember the last presentation I did in the university. I knew what I was going to say. And there's one thing about me, whenever I have a public speaking event, I do my homework. I source for information. I know what I'm going to say. I rehearse before coming to speak. But I don't know what happened with that presentation. In my head, I flopped because I was just stuttering. I could not get any coherent sentence out. But anyways, my group members did not judge me. Nobody was angry at me, and we still got our points right. But yeah, so there are times, despite the fact that I'm out there, I know that some people might be struggling with stutter and they are scared. Oh, if I talk, people would laugh. Oh, please talk. I can understand how it feels. I know how it feels stuttering when people are paying attention to you. They want to hear you speak and then you are stuttering. I know what it feels like. Do you understand? But trust me, you cannot overcome it until you do that thing that scares you. I think I'm going to end now, and I'm going to end with this. My dad once told me a story, and the story goes like this. So there was this person that was on a mountain, or maybe in a cave or something, and as he was approaching that cave, he was hearing voices, scary voices. He was supposed to open that door. I think it was the door was supposed to open, and as he was approaching the door, he was hearing scary voices. He was scared. He did not want to open the door because of the voices that he was hearing. But as soon as he faced his fears, he opened the door. He was expecting to see a monster because the voices were sounding like, the voices of monsters, not even one, like millions. Oh my God. But the person faced the fears after a while and opened the door, and the person saw nothing. The person heard nothing. There was nothing there. Maybe it was in the person's mind. Maybe it was, I don't know, I can't really remember, how, but basically the person saw nothing there. So I think what the story is just trying to say, that thing that's face your fears. I feel like my biggest fear in life, apart from the fear of failure, is the fear of stuttering. Like, I don't know what, I feel like people will judge me when they listen to me talk. People might not pay attention to me. But in the past few years, I've been facing my fears, and God has been helping me. This is our God in heaven. He's a good God. God puts me out there, and then I teach. I'm a teacher. And yeah, another thing that helped me face my fears, I remember how I used to be very scared. But in secondary school, I feel like God did this on purpose. I had this teacher. She was our biology teacher, Missy Former Stutters. But she taught us anyway, and that nobody has taught me biology like that woman. That woman can teach, and she will break it down, you will understand. I never really liked biology, but I love to stay in that woman's class because the way she explains, despite the fact that she stutters, that gave me courage as well. I've had one or two teachers that stutter, but they face their fears and they talk. Despite the fact that I know that teenagers are very funny. They will laugh at you, they will do funny things. But those people face their fears, and we never really even laughed. I don't remember my class laughing at Missy Former or laughing at, they face their fears. And those things, because growing up, I used to fear that maybe I will not get married, I will not get a job, nobody would want to be my friend. Nobody wants to associate with a stutterer, with someone that talks like this. But as I grew in life, I made good friends. I remember in school when I was in secondary school, there was this girl, Tola. Shout out to you. She might have forgotten this conversation, but I remember telling her how I was scared about the fact that I stutter. Like, I feel like I cannot go far in life because I stutter. And she was telling me that I'm even the one that is overthinking it. Like, everybody, I remember her saying everybody stutters. It's not a big deal. Like, she just made it so little, something that was so big in my head. She made it to be so, it's just a very normal thing. Like, everybody stutters. Some people, when they're angry, they stutter. And she told me that nobody judges me for it. Like, it's just in my head. I remember having that conversation, and you see, I still remember most of these things. I remember them up until today because those words formed me. Please be nice to people. Say nice things to people, especially children. Even your friend, as a child, as a teenager, even to your friend, say nice things to people. Don't say, even as a teacher, I'm still learning it because, you know, I get to teach. I mean, there are some children in class, they can be slow writers. Do you understand? They can, you know, not do some things well, and at times I'm frustrated to, you know, speak to them a certain kind of way. And I'm still praying to God to help me to always understand. You don't know what that child is going through at home. You don't know where that child is mentally, medically, psychologically. Be nice to children. Be nice to people, even to adults. I remember there were times I was pushed to suicide. Like, this stammering thing is serious, especially when the devil wants to mean you, he wants to use it against you. But I really thank God that God has been there for me. God has been really there for me. And because I love to talk, I was pushed to open my YouTube channel as well. And yeah, I'm facing my fears. Don't worry, I'm still going to do a video about those things that help me stop. I've not stopped stuttering, but I think it has been. I said there were times when I used to hit my leg, bank my, you know, do all of those things. But now I think it is well controlled. So I'm going to be sharing those things that helped me get over it. You know, those things that helped me be more confident in myself and face my fears. And I'm sure that a lot of people will be helped. So I think that I've come to the end of this video. Shooting this video is such a dream come true for me. It's such a dream come true. This particular video, talking to people about stutter, like launching stutter awareness. Like, people need to know about it. And I'm glad that I can be one of the vessels that is useful in that area. And you know, God is great. God lets us go through certain things for certain reasons. Do you understand? It is because I struggled with stutter that I have this burden in my heart to encourage other people that stutter and to educate or make people aware of that condition. And I'm grateful that I can share my journey with you. So if you've watched this video to this extent, I am grateful. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for listening to me. I really hope that you share this video to 1 or 2 people. Trust me, even if you don't have a friend that stutters, share it to your friend, to your family. They might know somebody else that would need this video. It will help somebody, I'm very sure. Thank you for watching. Thank you for please, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, comment. All these things would encourage me to, you know, to make more videos. If you know that you really like this particular video, let me know as well. You know, if you stutter as well, tell me about your struggles with stuttering. If you need somebody to act as an accountability partner, you can reach out to me on Instagram. Do you understand? I will Sarah_Olufemi. That's my name there. Just reach out to me. We talk about it together. And yeah, this video does not have to be longer than this. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.